Going to deliver to Bernie in his office in Dirksen, and we are going to request that he embrace the will of the majority of the American people who are at this point asking for a People's Party.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Bernie. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
We can have a progressive takeover of our country and our politicians, and it starts now with Draft Bernie!
To quote Bernie Sanders, we have won the battle of ideas at this point. Support for Medicare for all, 2-to-1. Free public college, 2-to-1. Getting money out of politics, 9-to-1. Down the line, just like that. And so we are now at a point where we have won that battle of ideas, like Bernie Sanders said, but a dilemma has emerged as we look to translate those ideas into political power. Because what has happened now is that the more people realize that the more progressive people become, the more they realize that the Democratic Party does not represent them, that it doesn't represent their interests. And as a result of that, the more progressive the country becomes, the more people who leave the Democratic Party. And that's exactly what we're seeing now, in fact. And it's nothing new. Some people are aghast. Oh my gosh, you've got Bernie Sanders, the most popular politician in the country, trying to bring people into the Democratic Party. And at the same time, you've got Donald Trump, the most offensive character in the country, also trying to bring people into the Democratic Party. And yet, the Democratic Party is incredibly declining. It has declined in party affiliation since November, and it's a continuation of a long trend. And so the fact that those two incredible forces cannot bring people into a party shows actually the extent to which people are awake now, and to which they recognize it doesn't represent them. And that's the dilemma now, is that the country is with us on the issues and the ideas, but we lack an institution with the power, with the ability to actually translate that platform into political power. And that's what we're here to discuss tonight. It's really exciting to be discussing this question of where should the progressive movement go from here, with all of the new avenues that have opened up to us, with all of the new opportunities. And so with that, I'm going to hand it off to Dr. West.
There's no doubt that I would not want to be any other place but here, because this particular gathering prefigures what is needed as the two-party system continues to degenerate, and as fellow citizens begin to see the unbelievable limitations and blindnesses of the corporate wing of the Democratic Party that is still in the driver's seat. I think that we have to be very honest and candid about where we are. We live not only in catastrophic times, not just Harvey and Irma and Jose and so forth, but it's catastrophe all the way down. It's ecological catastrophe. These things are not just happening as natural processes. It has something to do with corporate power that's been violating nature for so long, and nature now striking back. And this is just the beginning. The nuclear catastrophe, Russia, the United States, and the Democratic Party using Russia as some kind of excuse to not engage in serious self-criticism and interrogation. We've got political catastrophe, not just in Donald Trump. Let us never fetishize Donald Trump. Let's not give him magical power of some isolated individual. He is American as cherry pie. White supremacy and male supremacy and homophobia and transphobia, anti-Jewish sensibility, even with the Jewish daughter and son-in-law. Anti-Palestinian to the core, ... Let's be very honest about that. But I want to say two things, because I look at it from the vantage point of the decline of the American empire. And we need to have spokespersons candidates who have enough courage to tell our fellow citizens the truth that go beyond the very narrow constraints of corporate media on the one hand and the corporate wing of the Democratic Party and the right wing and the neo-fascists and the neo-Nazis and the KKK, who also are fighting for public space as the empire melts down. As it melts down. It's not just the grotesque wealth inequality. It's not just the intensification of male supremacy and homophobia and transphobia. It's not just the expansion of the white supremacy, but it's the militarism and the imperialism too. You can't have a democratic experiment if 53 cents of your dollar are already headed to the military-industrial complex. 4,855 military units, 857 of them overseas in 42 nations, special operations in 140 countries. There's only 192 countries in the world. That's military overreach tied to imperial ends and aims. As much as I love my dear brother Bernie Sanders, and I'm deeply disappointed he didn't have somebody there to receive those signatures. I don't mind disagreeing with my brother, but on a spiritual and a moral level, if you don't have somebody there to acknowledge the people who work so hard day in and day out just to receive the signatures, we have questions for you. We have questions for you. And it's not a matter of trashing Brother Bernie. It's not a matter of demeaning Brother Bernie. He must be accountable and answerable like anybody else, including ourselves. We want to see is our dear brother Bernie Sanders becoming too comfortable and adjusted to the corporate wing, the Schumers and the Pelosi's and the others. And the Hillary Clinton looks like I just took a look at her book. Everybody's responsible but her. We have to be honest enough to try to tell the truth.
Yeah.
There is a spiritual blackout afoot in the country. That's the relative eclipse of integrity, honesty, and decency.
Yeah.
It cuts across race, gender, sexual orientation, region, and that has something to do with the decay inside of the empire. And the empire is devouring what's left of the democracy. And that's one of the reasons why the right wing, the neo-fascists, and the others are organizing so quickly. That's one of the reasons why a gangster like Donald Trump can fill a void. Because the establishment of the Republican Party shattered. The establishment of the Democratic Party was pushed against the wall, but that establishment unfairly, I think in many ways almost robbed Bernie Sanders of his right due. And I think Bernie Sanders would have beat Donald Trump. That's what the enthusiasm of a gangster who will say anything is spectacle and no substance. But the corporate media who covered every word, every Twitter, every speech from the very beginning to the end to make money for revenues and ratings, and knowing it was bad for the country, allowed him unbelievable visibility. If they had given Bernie Sanders that kind of visibility, he'd probably be in the White House right now. How do we attempt to be true to the best of what we understand ourselves to be? As people, as Americans, as human beings, and as internationalists. And we provide some alternative. Now, William James used to draw a distinction between live options and dead options. We've got to be a live option, a momentous one that has real concrete possibility. And my hunch is that even Brother Bernie may not last that long with the corporate wing of the Democratic Party, so he may come running many months from now. That's my hunch. But the point is, you can't proceed predicated on what he does. The principle applies to persons across the also know that without some kind of fundamental coming together, I know people like to use the word coalition, I like to use the word solidarity. Solidarity. But there's no solidarity without integrity, honesty, and decency. It's not just a matter of ideology, it's a matter of the quality of the persons who are part of those who constitute a solidarity movement. So we've got to have the same righteous indignation when we see our brothers and sisters, disproportionately Latino and Mexican, being demonized, as we do when we see Palestinian babies killed in Gaza. The same righteous indignation when you see trans folk being attacked by the police, and gay brothers and lesbian sisters and bisexuals being demeaned. The same righteous indignation when you see black folk locked in to Jim Crow Jr. Not just the mass incarceration regimes, decrepit housing, massive unemployment, underemployment, indecent schools, on and on and on. When you see women having to deal with vicious domestic violence, it's just a peak of an ugly patriarchal iceberg. That's raw stuff that goes into both movements and creation of third-party formations. And if we don't have that kind of willingness and courage to enact some of that integrity, honesty, and decency, then the same old narrow Machiavellian politics of short-term gain tied to big money, tied to big militarism, tied to refusal to understand that poor people and working people must be at the center of any vision of a third party. That's why
I hear it time and time again from our supporters. They say, you know, this just feels like the continuation of the Bernie campaign. And I think it is so true. You know, this is the next step. We don't need to whittle it down. We don't need to water it down. You know, that's not how we succeed. We succeed by standing up boldly. Right. Not incrementalism. Revolution.
We are the revolution.
That's right. We are the revolution. That's what it's about. It's about that platform that he ran on. And it's about standing up for it boldly, not saying, well, we gotta come to the table to do this and whatever. It's not none of that. It's about you actually represent. That's the role. You actually represent what you want. You demand what it is that you want and what it is that people need to live decent lives. And you don't compromise on that. Because that's a human right. And that's what we deserve. And we are the majority. And we have the power. And we're about to show it right here.
This is a unique time in American history. Right now, the Conservative Party in America is fractured, and the Republicans are messed up too. You know that what we're asking for is things that we're supposed to have already. We can have nice things in America. What do you call a system that takes the richest country the face of the earth has ever seen and renders half of its population poor or low income? You call that a failed system. The Democratic Party doesn't respect progressives. It ignores them and then wags their finger at them. And we're done having their finger wagged at us. We're wagging it back at them today. Hillary Clinton just wrote another book. And she takes full responsibility. Except for Bernie, the media, progressives, Ralph Nader, Russia, and I think the Lucky Charms guy. We need a third party. If people vote their conscience, you know, it's crazy. The corporate Democrats, they want you to show up and vote, and then when you do, they're like, what do you think? You get to vote for whoever you want to vote for? This isn't America. Yes, this is America, and we get to vote for whoever we want to vote for. We get to support whoever we want to support. And Bernie Sanders has proven you don't need corporate money. He's proven that you're a chump if you take their money. You don't have to. You support the people, and the people will support you. And that's exactly what's happening today. And we're here to remind Bernie Sanders that we are the future of the Democratic Party, but there isn't one. That's why we're starting a new Democratic Party.
All of us at one time didn't know anything. Right? Right? Like once upon a time you didn't know. Now you do. That's right, you're woke. The object is to stay woke and wake up as many people as humanly possible. Through compassion, through messages, being unrelenting, and making sure that they know we feel their pain. Because that's what it's all about.
That the vast majority of people who supported Bernie's agenda last year, the 1.3 million people who went to his rallies last year, the vast majority of them are still going to struggle with the question of a new party. They are very clear, as we are, that the corporate agenda of the Democratic Party does not work. They are clear that Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer are not on their side, but they want to test out the Democratic Party. So we will see a lot of people, our sisters and brothers, in 2018 and 2020, trying out the tactic of trying to push the Democratic Party to the left. I believe our task is to be very clear and very honest that we don't think that will work. But at the same time, I think Brother Tim made a very important point, which is that we have to be very friendly and respectful and open towards people who haven't reached that conclusion yet, and say, you want to test out the tactic? We will be with you, but we will continue pressing on the question of a new party. Let's begin a serious conversation about the need for a new party for working people, for working Americans, and for a real political revolution. Thank you.
I watched the Democratic Party go from a party of the people to a party of corporations, and I want my party back. So I see no way to do that within the Democratic Party. This is our only chance.
I'm Bobby.
I'm here to do what I can.
I feel like having a third party that's just as influential as the two parties that we have now, and we'll keep those two parties in check with each other, and will allow more freedom for the people to actually get involved.
You're going to run in 2018? Where?
2018 in Illinois' 10th Congressional District.
Cool. Where can people go to find you and support you?
AaronForScience.com.
So it's September 8th, Bernie's birthday, and we're here to offer him a birthday present, a new party. One that doesn't take the money, that wants to deal with climate change, and we're here to do it. And he's welcome to come if he wants. Either way, we're doing it. You know, you do you, Bernie. If you want to come join us, either way. But we love you, Bernie. Hare Krishna.
Blackout news.